Hi, it's Scott. ROCKFILE back with another podcast review. Got to talk about the brand new 88 Films release of the 1986 Jackie Chan film, Armour of God. Turns out I have never seen this film. I've seen scenes of it. I have a Jackie Chan documentary I got years ago off eBay that's an Asian documentary on DVD, and it had a lot of scenes from this movie in it because, well, it's got some of his best scenes in it. In 1986, Jackie Chan was on a roll. He was really doing well. He was about to make another run at the U.S. He had films in production, films coming out, filming new films, and he got injured very badly in this film that almost ended his career. The movie was his idea to kind of do an Indiana Jones kind of thing where he'd do some treasure hunting, and they filmed a lot of the movie in Yugoslavia. That's where the accident took place. In the beginning, this has some of Jackie Chan's greatest set pieces, and I'm not going to do too many spoilers, but this is the one where you get the Amazon fight, the 4 Amazon women or 4 or 5 that fight him, the landing on the balloon skydiving stunt, and the tree stunt, which happens towards the beginning of the film. He's stealing a sword. There are natives there. There's actually a little bit of nudity in this part of the film, and he has to get away with the treasure, and he's chased. It's a la, Raiders of the Lost Ark, but there is a scene where he jumps out of a window and jumps on a tree. The tree bends, and he goes over the wall and gets down the hill. Well, he did that scene and it worked out, but he wanted to do it again. Jackie Chan is a bit of a perfectionist, and you find out in the extras, and they also showed this over the end credits of the film, that the tree was wet. It had rained earlier in the day, and he fell off that branch and fell several meters, or what was it? I think they said 5 meters, that's like 15, 20 feet, but he fell on a rock on his head. They had to wake him up. He was knocked out. He had to have emergency surgery. It turned out somebody who was a specialist in brain surgery happened to be in Yugoslavia at the time, and they got him there. And Jackie Chan has a permanent hole in his head that has a plastic plug in it because of that injury that day. They had to postpone filming. He went back and tried to do some filming a few weeks later, but he really had to heal. His hair had to grow back over the wound. This was a pretty major setback in Jackie's career because, well, he was kind of a Superman. He did most of his own stunts, and there are a handful of little scenes, especially in the beginning of the film, where they've inserted a stuntman or someone else to finish a scene that he may have started. The movie went on to be a big success, and there is a sequel, which I'm going to watch, that I actually bought last year sometime. One of my favorite online stores that sells boutique label stuff at a decent price, the Atomic Movie Store, had Operation Condor, Armour of God 2, or however it actually played, Armour of God 2, Operation Condor, I think is what the original title was. It was something else over here. Miramax completely screwed up the release of both of those movies over here with edited versions that took out some, semi-important things. I gave this about a 3.5 out of 5 on my Letterboxd review. How it plays out is very good. Like I said, some of the best stunts, some of the best action scenes in any Jackie Chan film. He was credited as the director, but also his co-star filmed in a little bit. His name is Eric Sang. There is a subplot where he used to be a singer in a popular band. This is a nod to a band that really existed. He and his partner. There are some strange things early on in the film, and I didn't realize why until I watched all of the extras after. But they do an action scene that's actually quite brutal, where bad guys are just slaughtering people, to a guy singing in an arena, singing a pop song. And it pops back and forth between the singer on a very expensive electronically lit stage, I guess you could say. It's pretty spectacular looking. And then it cuts to like this incredibly violent, bloody scene with people just getting killed. I thought that was a strange tone to take in that for a movie that mixes martial arts, stunts, some tomb hunting kind of stuff, and comedy with some melodrama in there too. Turns out he and the co-star, there's a love triangle with a girl, and that kind of goes weird later in the movie. There's some uneven stuff in the middle of the film, but still very interesting, definitely worth getting through because the big fights in the final third of the film and the giant stunt at the end are just spectacular. The whole movie looks great. Have become a fan of 88 Films. They are a UK boutique label. They have a lot of hard case box sets. This one came with a book. It's one of the best books I've ever seen. It is kind of a paperback, but man, it's got 3 different long essays, a lot of behind the scenes. It has a double-sided poster, and it's a 4-disc set, all in a hard box. You get 3 different versions of the movie in 4K. I watched the original Hong Kong version. There's an international version that cut over 10 minutes out, and then there is a Japanese version that put 10 minutes back in, but some of it is alternate footage to the original. Haven't watched that yet, but I will probably watch that at some point. Soundtracks, there's multiple monos. There is a 5.1 dub soundtrack. They all sounded pretty good for their age. The 5.1 was obviously much more spacious than the mono soundtracks. So the 2 4Ks, you get some basically just commentaries, and that's what's on the 4Ks with the 3 different versions of the movies on those 2 discs. Then all of that is replicated on the Blu-rays, but you get a lot of extras on disc 3, the first of the Blu-rays, because there's 2 versions of the movie on the second Blu-ray. So I think there were 11 or 12 different extras. Old stuff, interviews with Jackie Chan right after the movie came out, interviews with production designers, stunt coordinators, co-stars. There is Scott Adkins and another expert on action movies. They kind of break down the movie. That's about a half an hour long. That was really interesting because there were things you don't think about when some of these stunts, and there's actually more stunts in this movie than martial arts. If you're a Jackie Chan fan, this is an incredible set. I can't wait to dig into the rest of them. And like I said, I've become a fan of 88 Films because they spend this much time. Them and Arrow just do more than some of our boutique labels. Nothing against Shout Factory. They've done a great job, but they usually get overdone by some of these foreign labels. And I've never been so happy to have a region-free Blu-ray player. I mentioned several months ago I picked one up. It was relatively cheap online. And it came in and it works perfectly. I have it set for region B because that's pretty much what I get. Asian stuff and UK stuff that just is coded for that region on Blu-ray. 4Ks are 99% region free, so I haven't had a problem with any 4K I've bought. But the Blu-rays, some of these are extras. The extras are on a region-locked Blu-ray. And used to be I didn't care about extras, but for some of these movies, I really do want to find out. I would have not known why the movie was so uneven in the middle if I hadn't watched the extras and found out all the stuff that went on and how the movie was filmed over a long period of time, actually, because they had to take a break due to Jackie Chan's injury. This was all fascinating stuff to find out, and as interesting as the movie. But again, there's a lot of stunts, him jumping off stuff, over stuff, acrobatics. The other actors and stunt team are doing some amazing work. The fight scenes are incredibly well choreographed to the point at they're doing a scene. This is in the final third of the movie, a massive fight scene, and they do something that makes you go, oh, wow. And then seconds later, there's another, oh, wow moment. And seconds later, another one and another one and another. It's almost an onslaught of, well, what I talked about in The Furious. There just aren't that many movies that you watch these days. You go, oh, wow. Whether it be a stunt performed really well or a well-choreographed fight scene or even a great piece of acting. There's very little in modern cinema that you go, oh, wow. So I'm very happy that we have real people doing real stunts. Maybe there's a wire, maybe there's not. I did see on Wikipedia, I looked up to see how this movie did. It's 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, things like that. But they said one of the scenes where he jumps off a cliff, he was connected by a wire. Well, there's an expert that goes into that, and there doesn't appear to be any wire. They didn't have the technology to erase the wire at the time, so we should be able to see it. But even that, what they would have done at the time if they didn't have a wire rig, because Jackie Chan wasn't equipped to do base jumps. He had never really done that before. They think that there is an inflatable landing for him right outside of the camera, that he jumped off what looks like a cliff, but really lands right off camera in a balloon, basically. And that made more sense, especially when they slowed it down and showed it more times. The final scene that involves a hot air balloon and skydiving is incredibly well done. It comes out great. the forced perspective that they had to use, and there's basically 4 different shots that make you believe that Jackie Chan does what he does. And then the movie ends on a great note, and then, as usual, he puts some of the stunts that did not end so well over the end credits. There's also 2 different songs that were over the end credits. You can watch it either way. It asks you when you start. Jackie Chan sang the second one. His co-star sang the first one, and depending on which country you were in when you saw this movie. This movie did not get a theatrical release in the United States. It was released after Operation Condor was by Miramax, who screwed things up royally in its U.S. release. Well, here you are. You have 3 different versions of the film. That's every version that's ever existed. You've got all the different soundtracks and all the different extras in a box set that doesn't run much more than what modern steelbooks and 4Ks are going for. This set was really not expensive. And I've waited to watch the sequel because I wanted to watch this one first, to finally watch them. And I have no idea why 88 Films released them separately. The hard case has a slipcover over it, where the version that they released last year of the sequel has more of a strip, an OB strip on it. It's the same hard case, the same book, the same 4 discs and all that. They did everything the same, but this has a slipcover more like what you find on Arrow box sets, where the second movie, which came out first, has more of an OB strip that's taped to it that comes off, and then you have just the hard box without a slipcover on it. So just thought I'd mention that. The artwork is fantastic. There's reversible art on the 4K case as well. I put that on the original because everything else has the new, so why not have both? The double-sided poster is a good size, thick quality. If you like hanging posters, I would flatten this one out. It looks very good. All in all, it's a great set and a really good Jackie Chan movie, somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4. Of all of his movies, this has some of his best scenes, arguably some of his best fights and stunts, and is a pretty fun movie to watch anyway. Armour of God is a 1986 Jackie Chan movie. I didn't talk much about the 4K. It is a grainy film. This was filmed on film, probably not the most expensive stock. They were churning out movies. He was releasing like 4 to 6 movies a year at this point. He was really just churning them out, working so much that one of the big scenes at the beginning of the movie, he really only had 3 hours of sleep. And what he does is like, you could see he's a little sleepy in his eyes, but man, the stunts and the choreography he pulled off. But anyway, it is a grainy looking film. I can imagine it's never looked better. Some of the colors really pop. Some of the city scenes are really great. There's a lot of outdoor scenes that are brightly lit. All in all, it's not going to shock anybody, but it is tight, concise, and looks like a film projected in 4K. So yeah, the soundtracks, I watched the original mono because I just wanted to hear the original, but the 5.1, which has some dubbing in it, was a better sounding soundtrack. But if you don't care about the thing and you want the original, all the originals are here. It is a great box set for a really great movie. Jackie Chan's Armour of God is available now from 88 Films. It's an import. Got to have a import playing Blu-ray player to watch disc 3 and 4, but if you're so inclined and you like Jackie Chan, I highly recommend this set. Even if you don't care about extras and just want to watch the movie in 4K. No idea if this is ever going to get a U.S. release, so there you go. 88 Films has done you a favor by releasing a really comprehensive set of Jackie Chan's Armour of God from 1986. Scott and ROCKFILE, more podcasts are on the way. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a spectacular day.